Hello students, welcome to Nucleus Neet Foundation Academy and I am Kiran Kumar, Biology faculty. Today we are going to discuss a wonderful, beautiful chapter, Biological Classification from 11th NCERT Biology. So students, in the last class, Living World, we have discussed about different types of living organisms such as your bacteria, fungi, plants and animals. Isn't it correct? So today in this class we are going to discuss the different systems of classification and in detail we are going to discuss about bacteria, protista, fungi, viruses, lichens. Okay, so in the NEET exam at least 2 questions will be asked from this chapter, so it is going to be very important. Let's discuss the chapter now. Students, in order to understand this chapter, biological classification, first we should discuss the basic concepts from this chapter, then only we are going to enter into the chapter. So the basic concepts we are going to study. First of all, we are going to study different characters of different types of living organisms. First, we are going to start with a very simple type of living organism which is called as bacteria. Bacteria, already you know students, bacteria they are microscopic organisms. They occur in different shapes. Some are in the shape of rods, some are in the shape of small spherical structures, some are even like spirals. Okay, there are different shapes of bacteria. And these bacteria, what is their size? Their size ranges from 3 to 5 micrometers. So what is the size of this bacteria? The size of the bacteria ranges between 3 to 5 micrometers. So what is a micrometer? 1 micrometer is equal to 1 by 1000 of millimeter. 1 by 1000 of millimeter. You know 1 centimeter? 1 centimeter. If you divide that 1 centimeter into 10 parts, each part is called as 1 millimeter. And each millimeter, if you further divide into 1000 parts, that each single part is going to be 1 micrometer. So the size of the bacteria will be 3 to 5 micrometers. So that much small living organisms they are, correct? So and obviously they are the smallest living organisms in the world, right? Next, these people, bacteria, in this bacteria, they are made up of a single cell. Their entire body is made up of single cell. So that's why they are unicellular organisms. They are unicellular organisms. That means their body is made up of only one cell, not more than one. So that's why they are unicellular organisms, and they are the most simple type of organisms, and their cells are called as prokaryotic cells. What type of cells they have? They have prokaryotic cell. What is a prokaryotic cell? Pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus. That means they have a primitive kind of nucleus. That means almost there will be no nucleus inside the cells. Nucleus will be absent inside these bacteria. That's why they are called as prokaryotic cells. Their body is made up of prokaryotic cells. Also, you can call them as prokaryotic organisms. Okay. So, coming to their nutrition, how the bacteria will obtain their food. Some of the bacteria can prepare their own food. Some of the bacteria can prepare their own food. So, the term for that is autotrophic. What is autotrophic? It is a kind of nutrition where the living organisms prepare their own food without depending on other sources. So, some of the bacteria are going to be autotrophic and some of them are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means they does not prepare their own food, they depend upon other sources. So, such type of nutrition is called as heterotrophic. Some of the bacteria are autotrophic, some are heterotrophic. Okay. Next, coming to protists. Protists are also microorganisms. They are microscopic organisms. Mostly they are found in the freshwater bodies like ponds and lakes, and some of the organisms are also found living inside the animals as parasites. Okay, so you know this guy, it is amoeba. Amoeba. Okay, and what is this? This is paramecium. Paramecium. And what is this? This is euglena. Okay, all are unicellular organisms. All these organisms are made up of only one cell. That's why protists are also unicellular. They are unicellular organisms. Okay, and what about the cell? What type of cell they have? They are also made up of a single cell, but a well-defined nucleus is present. So in amoeba, a single nucleus is present. In paramecium, one large nucleus, one small nucleus. Two nuclei are present. In euglena, there is a nucleus. So all these organisms, they have well-defined nucleus. That's why they are eukaryotes. Eu means good. Karyon means nucleus. Eukaryotes. All the protists are unicellular eukaryotes and the bacteria are unicellular prokaryotes. Understood, students? Understood? Am I correct? Now, what about the nutrition? How these protists will obtain their food? Some of these protists, they can prepare their own food. Some are autotrophic. Autotrophic means prepare their own food. Some protists, they depend upon other sources. Some are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic. Some are heterotrophic. Understood? Understood, everyone? Next, fungi. Fungi is a totally different group of living organisms, students. They resemble plants in some of the characters. Okay. So this fungi, they doesn't have chlorophyll pigment. That's why fungi, they cannot prepare their own food. So in rainy season, students, you might have seen in the fields, some white structures will be growing from the soil. We call them as mushrooms. These mushrooms are also one kind of fungi. Okay. So we prepare a lot of tasty dishes like mushroom Manchurian, mushroom biryani, isn't it? These mushrooms are nothing but fungi, but all mushrooms cannot be eaten. Only some mushrooms can be eaten. Okay. So here you can see, what is this? Mushroom. Mushroom is a kind of fungus. It is also a kind of fungus. So where does this grow? These mushrooms, they grow mostly in the soil where there is lot of decomposing waste. So imagine this is the soil. In the soil there is lot of decomposing waste material of plants. So in such places these mushrooms grow. So under the soil there will be actually filament like structures which are slender and branched, and later these structures, they will give rise to mushrooms on the surface of soil. Okay. Next, are there only mushrooms in fungi? No, there are some fungi which are parasitic, means they can cause diseases in plants and animals. Here you can see there is a plant, wheat plant. This wheat plant is attacked by fungus. The fungus is growing on the leaves. So this is the fungus. What type of fungus is this? This is parasitic. Parasitic means the fungus which is growing on some other living organisms to obtain the nutrients is called as parasitic. Okay. So some of the fungi are parasitic in nature. Okay. Then what type of cells are present and how the cells are arranged? Are the fungi made up of a single cell? No. The fungi are made up of many cells. That's why they are multicellular. They are multicellular. What is multicellular, students? If an organism is made up of many cells, then it is called as multicellular. So inside the mushroom, there will be many cells. Many cells will be arranged like this to form a tissue. So that's why fungi are multicellular organisms, and inside the cell there is nucleus. Each cell there is a nucleus. That's why they are prokaryotes or eukaryotes. Come on, students, tell me. Yes, they are eukaryotes. They are multicellular eukaryotes. Okay. Next, what about the nutrition? So here our mushroom, it is obtaining its food material from the decomposing waste, isn't it? So obviously it is a heterotrophic. Under heterotrophic, there are two categories. Our mushroom is saprophytic. Saprophytic means depending on the decomposing waste material. Saprophytic. Mushroom is saprophytic. It depends upon the decomposing waste material. Next, what about this parasitic fungus growing on wheat plant? It is also a heterotrophic, shows heterotrophic nutrition. It is called parasitic. So, fungi purely show heterotrophic nutrition. Some are saprophytic and some are parasitic. There is no autotrophic nutrition, correct? There is no autotrophic nutrition in fungi. They cannot prepare their own food. They only depend upon other sources. Understood? Next, coming to the plants. Plants belong to which kingdom? Plant kingdom. The plants have an important character, that is, they have green leaves. In these leaves there is a pigment. Come on students. Can you tell what is the pigment present in the leaves? The pigment present in the leaves is called as chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment present in the leaves. By using this chlorophyll pigment, the plants can prepare their own food in the presence of sunlight, water and carbon dioxide. Isn't it? What is that process called? Come on, tell me. Photosynthesis. So the green plants, they show autotrophic nutrition. By which process they prepare their own food? Photosynthesis. So that's why photosynthetic autotrophic nutrition is seen in the green plants. Okay. So next, what about their body? Their body is made up of many cells. Many cells are present inside the body of plants and each cell is having a nucleus. So they are multicellular organisms. And what type of cells they are? Prokaryotic or eukaryotic? Obviously eukaryotic. Nucleus is present. So they are eukaryotes, multicellular eukaryotes. Okay. Next, coming to animals. Animal kingdom. Animals belong to your animal kingdom. Then in animals also we can see the animal's body is also made up of many cells. Many cells will be present inside the body of animals and each cell is having a nucleus. Okay. So they are also multicellular eukaryotes. Okay, then how the animals will obtain their food, how they obtain their nutrition? Animals will eat grass. Buffaloes, cows, they eat the grass. Such type of animals are called herbivorous animals, right? So since the animal is depending upon the other source, okay, they are heterotrophic organisms. Animals cannot prepare their own food. They have to depend upon other sources. So they are purely heterotrophic organisms. Okay. So moreover, the animal eats the entire food. It will consume the entire food. The food will enter into the digestive system. In the stomach, the food gets digested. So when a food material is taken into the body and it gets digested internally, then it is called as holozoic. What is the term? Holozoic. Under heterotrophic, holozoic type of nutrition is seen. That means the food is completely consumed in. So inside the body the food gets digested. So this type of nutrition is called holozoic. Animals show heterotrophic holozoic nutrition. Come on students, copy down this. Students, just now we have discussed about two types of cells, that is prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, and also we discussed about different types of nutrition. Now let us understand these concepts clearly with the help of flow diagrams. Okay, look here carefully. Types of cells. The cells are of two types, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. What are prokaryotic cells? Prokaryotic cells are those cells in which nucleus is absent. What is absent? Nucleus is absent. So here you can see this is the cell of bacteria. There is no nucleus. You can see only DNA. Okay, the DNA is not enclosed inside the nucleus. Such type of cells are called as prokaryotic cells, and the organisms are called as prokaryotes. Next is eukaryotic cells. Here you can see this is a cell in which there is cytoplasm and there is a well-defined nucleus. Inside the nucleus there will be DNA. Where will be the DNA? The DNA will be present inside the nucleus, So when the DNA is enclosed inside a well-defined nucleus, they are called as eukaryotic cells. So here nucleus is present. Such organisms are called eukaryotic cells. Next, coming to the nutritions. So what is nutrition? The method by which the living organisms obtain their food is called as nutrition. So there are basically two types of nutritions. First one is autotrophic nutrition and second one is going to be your heterotrophic nutrition. Come on students, what is autotrophic nutrition? It is a type of nutrition where the living organisms prepare their own food. What they prepare? They prepare their own food. They does not depend upon any other sources. Okay, autotrophic nutrition is again two types, photosynthetic autotrophic nutrition and chemosynthetic autotrophic nutrition. So this is somewhat a new term which you are hearing for first time, isn't it? So photosynthetic nutrition, in this type, mostly you can see the green plants here. Food material is prepared by using sunlight. The energy is obtained from sunlight in order to prepare their own food. But here in chemosynthetic nutrition, it is not sunlight, but it is a chemical reaction. Energy is obtained during chemical reactions. When some chemical reaction takes place inside the body, then automatically energy is produced. By using that energy, food material will be produced. Okay, that is called chemosynthetic nutrition, which is seen mainly in bacteria, some of the bacteria. Okay, next, plants show which type of nutrition? Plants show photosynthetic autotrophic nutrition. Am I correct? Understood? Next, heterotrophic nutrition. What is heterotrophic? Heterotrophic nutrition. So they obtain nutrition from other source. The nutrition is from other source. They cannot prepare their own food. Okay, example of heterotrophic organisms, example fungi and animals. Correct? So heterotrophic nutrition is again of three types. Saprophytic nutrition, just like your mushrooms. So in saprophytic nutrition, the organisms obtain their food from decomposing waste. Decomposing waste such as mushrooms. Okay. Parasitic nutrition is a type of heterotrophic nutrition where the living organisms, they depend upon other living organisms for source of food. Okay. So in women, in girls, there will be head lice. Okay, they will be sitting in the hair and they will be taking the blood from their skin. Okay, so such type of organisms are parasites. So parasitic nutrition, the source of food is from other organisms. From other organisms. So example here is your parasitic fungi. Parasitic fungi. It is a heterotrophic parasitic. Next, holozoic nutrition. What is holozoic nutrition? It is seen in animals Animals, they consume entire food into their body and they are going to digest that food material and obtain the energy out of it. So food taken into body and then digested internally. So it is called as holozoic nutrition. So these are the three types of heterotrophic nutrition. Come on students, copy down. Students, long ago, about 300 BC, at that time science and technology wasn't developed much, and all the people who used to live at that time, they used to classify the living organisms into different groups based upon their uses such as food, shelter and clothing. Okay, they never tried to classify the living organisms based on scientific principles. Okay, for first time Aristotle, the Greek philosopher Aristotle, was the first person to classify the living organisms on scientific basis. So he used scientific basis for classification. Okay, he was the first person to use scientific basis for classifying the living organisms. So what characters he used? He used simple morphological characters of living organisms to classify them into different groups. What are morphological characters? What are morphological characters? Morphological means external. External characters are called as morphological characters, such as size, color. Okay, this type of characters which we can easily observe from outside, they are called as morphological characters. So for first time, Aristotle attempted to classify the living organisms on scientific basis, and that's why Aristotle is considered as father of biology. So Aristotle is honored as father of biology, and he is also called father of zoology because he also studied animals. Father of zoology. Okay, so now we will discuss the different systems of classification one by one. Now the next topic, systems of classification. Systems of classification. Students, earlier, as the technology wasn't developed, the scientists, they just classified the living organisms based upon their basic external characters. Okay, so Carolus Linnaeus, the taxonomist, he is also called as the father of taxonomy. This particular taxonomist, he classified the living organisms into two kingdoms. Okay, so it is called as two kingdom classification. The living organisms have been classified into two kingdoms, namely Plantae and Animalia. The kingdom Plantae, it included all the green plants and also the microscopic bacteria and also fungi were also included in this kingdom called as Plantae. Okay, so Animalia, it included completely all the animals. So this particular system of classification has been used for several years. Later, gradually, the taxonomists, they came to know that this system of classification is not so perfect. Why? Because there are a lot of demerits or inadequacies, such as the bacteria does not fit in Plantae. The bacteria, they are not actually plants. The fungi are actually not plants, even though they were kept under plant kingdom. So because of which some changes were made in the existing system of classification. Later what happened? Three kingdom classification was proposed. Three kingdom classification was proposed by taxonomist Haeckel. So he classified the living organisms into three kingdoms: Protista, Plantae and Animalia. A new kingdom has been added, that is called as Protista. Protista includes unicellular eukaryotic organisms. It includes unicellular eukaryotic organisms such as amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc. Previously they were in plant kingdom and they were moved into new kingdom called as Protista. Next, coming to four kingdom classification. Even the three kingdom classification was also having some inadequacies, some demerits. So such as the fungi does not have proper place. Even now the fungi were placed in plant kingdom only. So that's why what happened? Four kingdom classification was proposed by scientist called Copeland, by taxonomist called Copeland. He created another kingdom called as Monera. This included all unicellular prokaryotic organisms. So that means the bacteria which were previously used to be in plantae, they were moved into a new kingdom called as Monera. Monera includes all unicellular prokaryotes that are nothing but bacteria. Okay, the remaining kingdoms were as it is: Protista, Plantae, Animalia. They were as it is, no change. Next, even this fourth kingdom classification is also having some inadequacy, that is, there is no separate place for fungi. Fungi were still placed in Plantae. Fungi does not prepare their own food, they doesn't show autotrophic nutrition, right? So some modifications took place in four kingdom classification, and that led to five kingdom classification given by R.H. Whitaker. R.H. Whitaker's classification called five kingdom classification, it is widely accepted system of classification. Okay, so in this classification system, the living organisms are classified into total five kingdoms, that is Monera, the pre-existing kingdom is extended as it is. Protista, same as it is. A new kingdom has been created, that is called kingdom fungi, and plant and animalia were as it is. Okay, so what was the new kingdom that has been included here? Kingdom fungi. The kingdom fungi, it included all the eukaryotic multicellular organisms which cannot carry out photosynthesis. Okay, so all those organisms were included into the new kingdom called as fungi. So which is the most widely accepted system of classification? Five kingdom classification is the widely accepted system of classification. It was proposed by R.H. Whitaker. Okay, copy down these, students. So students, look here, R.H. Whitaker classification was given in the year 1969, very important point for your NEET examination, and it is the widely accepted system of classification. So he classified the living organisms into five kingdoms. What are the five kingdoms? Just now we have discussed: kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom fungi, kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia. Total five kingdoms. Okay, so on what basis he classified the living organisms into five kingdoms? Look here, the criteria means the basis on which the classification was done. The main criteria were cell structure. So what was the structure of the cell, whether it was a prokaryotic cell or eukaryotic cell? Body organization, how the body of organism is made up of, whether it is made up of a single cell or many cells, and whether tissues are present, whether tissue system is present, whether organ is present. So based upon this body organization. Next, another criterion is nutrition, how the living organism will obtain its nutrients, autotrophic or heterotrophic. Okay, so nutrition. Next, the fourth criterion is reproduction, how the organism is going to reproduce, by what method the organism is going to reproduce. Next, the fifth criterion is phylogenetic relationship. What is phylogenetic? Means evolutionary relationship. How the organisms share the relationship with other organisms in the evolution point of view, it is called as evolutionary relationship. For example, we human beings, we are having evolutionary relationship with the chimpanzees and gorillas, isn't it? So that is what we call it as phylogenetic relationship. So based upon these five criterion, the living organisms have been divided into five kingdoms. Understood? Note down the students. Students, now this particular table is going to be very important for your NEET exam. Many questions can be asked. So listen carefully. Characteristics of 5 kingdoms. So Whittaker gave 5 kingdom classification based upon criteria. Okay, so what are the characters of these 5 kingdoms? Let us see. First kingdom, Monera. Kingdom Monera, it includes all the unicellular prokaryotes, right? So what type of cells are seen in this kingdom Monera? Prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic organisms are seen in kingdom Monera. Protista, it includes unicellular eukaryotes. So what type of cell? Eukaryotic cells are seen in this organism. Next, fungi. Fungi also eukaryotic. Plantae also eukaryotic. Animalia also eukaryotic. So except your kingdom Monera, remaining all are eukaryotic. Okay. So who are the eukaryotic organisms? Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia. Who are the prokaryotic organisms? Only Monera. Kingdom Monera are prokaryotic. Now coming to the cell wall. What is a cell wall? So if this is a cell, if a cell is covered by a protective covering, this protective covering is called as cell wall. A cell wall gives protection. It gives protection to the cell from external environmental conditions. Okay. So now is this cell wall present in prokaryotes? Yes, it is present. It is present, but it is non-cellulosic. I will tell you what is cellulose. Okay. Later I will tell you. Non-cellulosic. Cellulose cell wall will not be present, but some other different type of cell wall will be present. Next, coming to kingdom Protista. In kingdom Protista, in some organisms only cell wall is present, not seen in all the organisms. Next, kingdom Fungi. In kingdom Fungi, it is present, cell wall is present. It is made up of material called chitin. Chitinous cell wall is present in kingdom Fungi. Next, kingdom Plantae. Plantae, yes, cell wall is present and it is made up of material called cellulose. Cellulosic cell wall is present. The cell wall is made up of a material called cellulose. Okay. In Animalia, the cells doesn't have cell wall. Cell wall is absent. It is absent. Okay. Next, coming to the nuclear membrane. So first of all, in prokaryotic cells, there will be no nucleus. So nuclear membrane will be absent. It will be absent. Next, coming to Protista. Yes, protists, unicellular eukaryotes, nucleus is there means nuclear membrane will be also present. So nuclear membrane is present. Here also nuclear membrane present. Here also present. So nuclear membrane is present in all the eukaryotes except our prokaryotes. Next, body organization. How the body is made up of? The body of monerans, which includes bacteria, the body is made up of a single cell. So cellular organization is seen. What type of organization? Cellular organization. Cellular level organization is seen. That means the body is made up of cells. Okay. So here Protista also you can see cellular organization. The body is made up of cell. But in kingdom fungi, what happens? Several cells will combine together and form loose tissue. So here you can see loose tissue. You can also see cellular organization, and also several cells are going to form loose tissues. So this is an advancement which you can see in kingdom fungi, presence of loose tissue. Next, coming to kingdom Plantae, here we can see tissues. Here we can see tissue organization, And also we can see organ level organization. That means several tissues will combine to form organs such as your leaves, flowers, roots, stem. These are all different organs. So tissue organization, organ organization also you can see. In Animalia you can see much more advanced organization. Here you can see tissue organization, organ organization, and also organ systems. The organs get organized into organ systems. Okay, for example, digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system. These are different types of organ systems which are seen in animal kingdom. Understood, students? Understood, everyone? So which kingdom show highest level in organization? Animalia. Okay, so least, which is the simplest organization? Monera shows cellular organization. Even Protista also show cellular organization. Next, coming to mode of nutrition, how the living organisms are able to procure their nutrients. Monera show a huge diversity in the nutrition. Some of them are autotrophic. Under autotrophic, some are photosynthetic, and some are chemosynthetic. I told you what is chemosynthetic, correct? Next, some of the bacteria are heterotrophic. That means they obtain food from other sources. Under heterotrophic, some are saprophytic, means they will obtain the food from decomposing waste, and some are parasitic. They obtain food from other organisms. So parasitic bacteria are those bacteria which are able to cause diseases. Okay, so there is a huge diversity in the nutrition in kingdom Monera. Very important point for NEET exam. Next, coming to kingdom Protista. What type of nutrition? Some are autotrophic and some are heterotrophic. So some people here are autotrophic and some people are heterotrophic in kingdom Protista. Next, come to kingdom Fungi. Kingdom Fungi completely comprises of heterotrophic organisms. Completely heterotrophic. Under heterotrophic, some are saprophytic and some are parasitic fungi which will cause diseases in other organisms. Next, coming to kingdom Plantae, all the organisms of kingdom Plantae are autotrophic. Under autotrophic, which type of autotrophic? Photosynthetic. That means they will prepare their own food by photosynthesis. Okay, right? Next, coming to Animalia, all the organisms show heterotrophic nutrition. Under heterotrophic, which type of heterotrophic? Holozoic type of heterotrophic nutrition. Understood, students? Correct? Understood, everyone? Come on, copy down this. Students, we discussed about the 5 kingdom classification. Another taxonomist called Carl Woese, he gave 6 kingdom classification. Let us see some of the important points of this classification. So this taxonomist Carl Woese, he classified the living organisms into 6 kingdoms. So what are those 6 kingdoms? Kingdom Archaebacteria and Kingdom Eubacteria are newly added into the classification system. So the previous kingdom Monera, which used to be in 5 kingdom classification, it has been divided into 2 separate kingdoms in 6 kingdom classification, that is kingdom Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. What are these 2 kingdoms? Archaebacteria, it included all the ancient bacteria. The ancient bacteria. Whereas the modern bacteria, the true bacteria, were included in the kingdom called as eubacteria. The true bacteria were included in the kingdom called as eubacteria. Okay. Next, the remaining kingdoms were as it is. There were no changes. Protista, fungi, plantae, animalia as it is. Total how many kingdoms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 kingdoms. Okay. The same taxonomist Carl Woos, he also gave 3-domain classification system. 3-domain classification system. That means he classified the living organisms into 3 domains. That is domain archaea, domain bacteria and domain eukarya. The domain archaea, it included all the ancient bacteria. The domain bacteria included all the true bacteria, and eukarya included all the eukaryotic organisms. Okay. So this is the classification given by Carl Woos. Copy down, students. So completed. So we'll meet in the next class. Until then, keep healthy, keep fit and keep reading. Bye bye.